I hope that air conditioner isn't too loud. I can't turn it off. Anyway, hey, what's up guys? I'm Mr. Marklovitz, today bringing you the first lecture video in Unit 3. We're talking about cinematography. So let's jump right into it. This is composition and framing. Now, the three things that I want you to take away from the end of this lecture video are camera distance, camera angle, and the rule of thirds. And we'll talk about each one of these three things individually here. Now, camera distance is just how far away the camera is from the subject. Now, I put these abbreviations here because it would take too much space to write them all down, but you should be familiar with the abbreviations anyway, because it'll simplify things when you're doing storyboards and shot lists and all that kind of stuff. So with an extreme wide shot, you're really concentrating on the location, the setting. It's establishing sort of the environment that your subject lives in. Now, your subject might be present in an extreme wide shot, but if they are, they're very small, okay? You'll see their entire figure, and you probably won't be able to make out much detail as to who the character is or what their emotional state is like, because they're just too far away from the camera. With a wide shot, we get a little bit closer. You still see the subject's entire figure. Maybe their feet are somewhere near the bottom of the frame and the top of their head is somewhere near the top of the frame, but it's still more about establishing the environment in which that character is occupying, okay? Really good for dance scenes, really good for fight scenes, really good for photographing sports, because the frame, the camera frame, is loose enough that you can still easily keep that subject in the frame without much difficulty if you had to like follow them around or whatever. Try shooting a basketball game while in close-up. It's impossible, okay? So yeah, extreme wide shots, we're starting to, you know, get into the location and the environment and maybe introduce our subject, but we really haven't learned anything about their emotional state, but that'll come, all right? With a medium shot, this is a medium shot. Looking at me, I'm at about waist up. It's sort of the nice in-between. You can sort of start to make out facial features, expressions on my face, but you also get a sense of the type of environment that I'm in. So a medium shot is sort of the in-between, all right? Medium close-up, usually chest up, great for conversations. You have two characters that are in dialogue with one another, and you might want to shoot them in a medium close-up. We're getting closer and closer to their face. And then with the close-up, you really start to get into the emotional state of the characters. So let's say you have a scene with two people shot entirely in medium close-ups, and all of a sudden in the middle of that conversation, one of them says to the other one, "I love you," or "I hate you," okay? That line better be shot in a close-up, because that is the emotionally charged line. And by shooting it in a close-up, you're really telling the audience, hey, that was an important line, okay? You pay attention, okay? Pay attention to when the camera cuts from a medium close-up, again, like chest up, to a close-up, maybe just chin to top of head. And chances are, when that happens, there's a reason, okay? And it probably has something to do with the emotional state of the character, okay? And then there's the extreme close-up. Now with the extreme close-up, you're probably losing a little bit of the emotional impact because you are literally filling the frame with just a single part of the subject. It's, you know, a single eyeball, whatever. You're focusing on a single part of the subject because the director, the cinematographer, whoever really wants you to pay attention to that, you know, single tear rolling down the person's cheek, whatever it is, okay? Then there's camera angles, how the camera is angled in relation to the subject. What you're looking at right now is an eye level shot. Myself and the camera are at about the same plane, okay? So this would be a nice eye level shot, all right? However, if the camera was above my eye line and looking down on me, we would call that a high angle shot. And if the camera was below my eye line looking up at me, that would be a low angle shot. Now, there are reasons for shooting in a high angle or a low angle. Typically, if you want to diminish the subject, you would shoot them from up above. If you want to make the subject look a little larger than life, then you might want to shoot them from down below, okay? So there's certainly psychological reason for going high or going low. There are also extreme examples. They're not very common, but they do exist, where, you know, the camera might be directly above the subject, shooting them from up above. That would be an extreme high angle. Or the camera might be on the ground shooting straight up at the subject, even less common, and that would be an extreme low angle. Those are pretty, you know, artsy-fartsy shots that call attention to themselves, and they're not really used that often, but certainly, you know, they do exist. And then there are Dutch angles, where the camera is sort of tilted. The horizon line isn't perfectly level. One end is maybe a little higher than the other end, and the actor sort of has that, you know, 45-degree lean, whatever. Again, these are types of angles that specifically call attention to themselves, and they're used often to show the emotional state of a character, right? Maybe a character is drunk, or maybe a character just got beat up and they're sort of, you know, mentally out of it. Typically, those shots are filmed with Dutch angles to sort of show, that this person isn't quite right. Their world is a little off balance. Hey, there you go. And then there's the rule of thirds, a composition guideline that divides an image into 9 equal parts, positioning the key elements along the intersections of the grid. What am I talking about? Well, basically, you're looking at this frame right now. If you were to divide this frame into 9 equal parts using 4 grid lines, you would notice that all of the most interesting parts of this frame fall on the intersections of those grid lines. Notice that I'm not in the middle of the frame right now, okay? Notice that my eye line is at about 1/3 of the way from the top of the frame. All of those decisions get made when you're following the rule of thirds, okay? Now, there are some filmmakers, like Wes Anderson, who deliberately break the rule of thirds, okay? They'll put the subject right in the middle of the frame, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. You know, whatever. It is what it is. But this is a common practice that I see in a lot of my, you know, student filmmakers, is they want to put the subject right here, you know. But if this is your subject, if this is your shot, and there's all this weight over here, well, what's going on over here? It doesn't feel balanced, right? Also, when I'm looking directly into the camera like this and I'm right in the middle of the frame, it's a shot that sort of doesn't feel natural. It feels too, I don't know, it feels too set up. It feels too unrealistic. So by placing me here and following the rule of thirds, placing, you know, my face, which is the most important part of this image, right at one of these intersecting lines, the whole frame just feels more natural. It feels more pleasant to look at, and, you know, there's a balance. There's an order to this shot. The weight of me is balanced by the weight of this board, and you as an audience just go, that looks nice. Yeah, I like it. Where again, here, I don't like it. And then also, watch your eye line, okay? Typically, if you're photographing a person, the subject's eyes should be about 1/3 of the way from the top of the frame. When I'm filming with students and I'm looking over their shoulder, and I hate when people do that to me, but I do it to my students all the time, the one advice that I'm always whispering into their ears is tilt down, because they love to put their subject here. And you have all this unnecessary headroom up here, and it looks bad, all right? It just looks bad. So stop doing it, all right? So, I don't know. I feel like by just describing what the rule of thirds is, I'm not doing a good job, but I'll throw in some pictures and I'll throw in some examples and some grid lines over this rambling dialogue, and hopefully you come away with a better understanding of what the rule of thirds is trying to help you with, okay? Your lab assignment for this week, guys, pretty simple. I want you to record examples of each distance and angle. So there should be 10 total shots. You have your extreme wide shot, your wide shot, your medium close-up, your close-up, and your extreme close-up. And then there will be 4 different types of angles: eye level, high angle, low angle, and Dutch, all right, or canted, whatever. I guess you could double up. You can have an eye level shot that's also a close-up, and then you don't have to do an extra shot, whatever. But yeah, I want to see examples of each type of camera distance and each type of camera angle. And you should be following the rule of thirds in all of them, all right? This week we are viewing The Third Man from 1949, 2 movies from the 40s in a row. You're welcome. This is a rare treat, all right? I watched this movie shot by shot with a checklist to make sure that every single camera distance and every single camera angle exists in this film. And you know what? They're all there. All 10 of them are in there, okay? So you might think, oh, that's pretty common. It's really not. The only other film that I can think of that I know for sure has all of these would be Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. But I'm trying to veer away from the R-rated films, and also most of you have probably already seen The Shining. So we're going to watch The Third Man from 1949, an excellent noir film starring Orson Welles and Joseph Cotten. And yeah, you're going to enjoy it. If you watch it, you're going to enjoy it. I hope you like harpsichord music, because there's going to be a lot of it. All right, guys, that's it. Email me if you have any questions, or talk to me in class. Otherwise, good luck. I'll see you later. Bye.